It's spring, everyone. And here in Southern California, Zone 10A, it is absolutely the perfect time to get into the garden and get these things planted up. What I have in front of me right here are these gorgeous Proven Winners annuals that I either picked up at a local garden center or items that I had mail ordered from an online source. And what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you what they are, and I'm also going to give you a glimpse of how we intend to plant these up, either in the container or in the landscape. So stick around, I have a lot to show you. Okay, before I start talking about each one of these varieties, I want to kind of explain exactly why you see so many Proven Winners branded plants here. And part of the reason is because in my experience, whenever I buy Proven Winners plants, they do exceptionally well long-term for me. I have very few issues, and more importantly, a lot of these varieties that would normally need deadheading constantly and a lot of maintenance, they don't require that. So just the ease of having them in the yard, along with how hardy they are and how low maintenance they are, I really keep coming back to ordering and purchasing Proven Winners plants over and over again. Now, that's not to say that I don't use non-branded items, but from my experience, it really does make a huge difference. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through them in groups so that you can see these individual varieties and how I'm going to use them together, either in the landscape or in my containers. So we're going to get started right now. I'm going to bring them up to the table and we'll talk about my first combination. So the first combination here are these beautiful colors that I've selected to really be in contrast with each other, but also to really showcase the beautiful vivid color that each one has. Starting with this really beautiful, brand new for 2025, plum veined mini vista. I mean, guys, so pretty. It is nice, tight, compact, really rich green foliage with that beautiful veined, kind of a pinky lavender bloom. Absolutely beautiful. It's a smaller bloom than most petunias, but it really is going to be nice and in contrast to the larger bloom that is over here on this side, which is the Supertunia Black Cherry. So pretty. And I really like this one because I've had experience growing it in the landscape and in containers, and it grows in a very nice, tight, compact way, but it also trails beautifully, flowing over the side of those containers and really filling in the space if it's in the landscape. And I thought these really do look nice together. Not your normal pairing of colors, but I think the contrast is going to be beautiful because in the back bed where these are going to go, I have some burgundy roses back there along with a beautiful pink rose. And I think those colors are just going to pop and draw your eye to that corner of the yard. I'm also planning to put these two together in my corner where I usually plant my containers. And I'm going to do a tiered look over there using hanging baskets on a pedestal. So I'm going to use 3 of those, and I'm going to use these colors together, but I'm also going to add the centerpiece, which is this also brand new for 2025 Wedgwood Pink Angelonia. And this will grow about 18 to 30 inches tall and really fill in the space. It's not blooming right now, but when it does, I'm sure it's going to look absolutely gorgeous over the top of these 2 colors that will be spilling over the side, creating a dramatic effect, really drawing your eye to that space of the yard. And I'm kind of excited because that area and the area in the back will kind of mirror each other in color, kind of tying the whole space together. And I think that's really neat when that happens and you really see that cohesion in your yard. So this Angelonia, along with this beautiful, rich, deep burgundy with that gorgeous dark throat of this Black Cherry Supertunia, in addition to the really, really nice new plum vein small mini vista here, I think it's going to be a winning combination for sure. All right, let's get the next plants up on the table. So for a number of years now, I've used a Vista variety of the Proven Winners petunias in that space for a number of reasons. Number one, I want it to be a space that completely fills with color. And I also want something in that spot to be extremely vigorous and to fill it quickly. And so when I used bubblegum and then snowdrift, and a number of years ago I used jazzberry. It was the perfect solution for a large planter. So that's why this year I'm going to be using the gorgeous Supertunia Vista Silverberry. I mean, what a terrific plant with that coverage of blooms along with that silvery white, and then you have that really nice raspberry veining deep in the center of each one of those blooms. And these are already going crazy. I had ordered these from Proven Winners Direct, and honestly guys, when they came, they were very similar to the condition that they are right now. This is about a week after I received them, and as you can tell, they're doing really well. I didn't have any branchings broken off, which is really important. Every once in a while, when you get those items from a mail order source, they can be upside down, delivered on your doorstep with half of the soil displaced inside the box. And when that happens, I just try to pat that in there and add a little bit more soil, or if there's anything broken, just snip it off. Most of the time, unless it's completely cut off or damaged all the way down to the base of the plant, most of the time they can be revived. And I've had really good luck with my mail order plants from both Proven Winners Direct, provenwinners.com, and also gardening with Creekside. These were beautiful. They came in great shape, and they are going to go in our front planter, and they're going to fill that space beautifully. And then to go along with the silverberry, I'm going to pair that with the extremely beautiful and just as vigorous Superbena Red. I have grown this before. It's done extremely well, and I think the red color of its blooms, even though it's not really blooming now, it's loaded with buds. Eventually, pretty soon here, we're going to have color on here. But I think that color, along with the silverberry, is going to create that contrasting color that's really going to make that space shine. A few years ago, I used Supertunia Vista Snowdrift along with the Superbena Whiteout, and I really like that. It was an all white look. You had those different bloom heads that really did give you a little bit of a contrast, but I've noticed over the years when I pair two different colors together, it really is striking to the eye, and it makes the most impact for sure. So these are going in the front. I can't wait to get this in. This is probably going to be one of the first things that I plant out there because the plants are definitely ready. And since they've been sitting out here getting acclimated to our weather, since they both were mail ordered, they haven't faded or burnt at all. So they are okay to go into the landscape. I like to, what they call, harden them off just a little bit, because very often some of these plants, when you do mail order them, they're coming from a greenhouse and they're not really in the direct sun. And it is a different climate, obviously, in a greenhouse than it is here in Southern California. So I'd like to give them a little bit of time to get acclimated. But these have been out here doing extremely well, and they are ready to go into the yard in the near future. I'll definitely share a video when that happens. All right, on to the next combination. All right, so the next combination is for our window box that sits underneath our kitchen window, which is near our air conditioning unit. And I'm really excited to show you this because these three items just arrived today from Creekside Nursery in North Carolina. And this is the condition that they came in, so you can kind of see what that looks like. And they look really, really nice. Now, these are two different varieties of a begonia. We do a lot of other things in our yard, but I'm excited about these because that space near the window is very interesting in that it gets morning sun, and then for most of the rest of the day, it's in the shade. So I wanted to put something in that spot that didn't require full sun or even part sun, so that I would have a really good chance of getting successful blooms and a gorgeous show of color. So let's talk about these varieties, and I think they're going to be absolutely beautiful together. The first variety is this beautiful, nicely compact and rich in green Double Delight Primrose Begonia. It's great for sun or shade. This will mound a little bit. It also will trail slightly as it leans over the side of the hanging basket. I think it's going to be really nice. And I love yellow in the yard because it really does draw your eye and give you a sense of cheerfulness. And in that space, since it's tucked in the corner, I have a wall that comes out to the east, and then it's on a east facing wall there anyways. It kind of is a darker space in the yard, so I want to put something there that's going to really draw the attention of your eye, but I also want to soften it and not have it completely yellow there, and that's why I'm going to add this really beautiful Double Delight Apple Blossom from Proven Winners as well. And I think this yellow, along with this really peachy, creamy. It also has a little bit of yellow in there as well to tie the colors together. I think it's going to be really, really nice. And you know what? I haven't ever planted any begonias in a hanging basket or a window box yet. So this is going to be something different for us. And I can't wait to get these in its spot. I will wait a little bit. I'm not going to be planting these up anytime soon, especially since they arrived just today. I imagine that the root system, since these are such small plants, they're not really taking up all the space in these little containers. So I'm going to let them get a little bit more acclimated, put them in a safe spot where it's a little bit more shade protected until they really get acclimated to our area. And then once they've grown up just a little bit, I'm going to plant them up and put them in their new home. But beautiful colors. So it's really exciting. And I can't wait to add these really nice, beautiful, soft pastel colors to our garden space. Each year we plant some beautiful color on our block wall here that would normally be pretty much plain. And it's really nice to have that show of color above our garden as we have various things growing in it throughout the season. We've grown amazing super bells. Last year we had pink and yellow. The year before that we had purple and orange. And this year we're going with, of course, more bold colors. We're going to go with this beautiful double ruby super bells, and they're really, really tiny. I did mail order these from Proven Winners, and they're really healthy, but they're very small. So I'm going to probably grow these out in their containers just a little bit before I get them planted. But I think it's going to be really nice, and I definitely love that double bloom there. And when these are blooming fully, like our double yellow, it really is a complete bouquet of little rosettes that are stunning. In contrast with that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to plant this new double vintage coral, and they have a very interesting color. They kind of look like a wine-ish color, and they have some lighter tones along with some interesting different veining and some deep red sections as well. And I think the double ruby along with the vintage coral double will be really, really a nice contrast. And when they fill in their containers, you're going to really see that varied color along the wall there, but yet they complement each other as well. So I'm excited to get these in, especially these new varieties. Now this variety, I ordered the double ruby, but this variety I found at a local garden center. And I was really excited to find those because something I wanted to try for a long time since I've heard that they were coming out with this variety. And so to find it was really exciting. And plus it supports my local garden center. So that was a plus. So this next combination I'm so excited about. We're going to plant this up in our 2 urns that we place near our back door and our back porch. And I think these colors are going to be perfect for the backyard considering how vibrant they all are. Let's start with the thriller in this combination with this, which is this brand new salvia from Proven Winners, unplugged white. And look at how cool that is. I don't think I've ever seen one like this in our local garden centers. I did have to special order this. And you know that salvia can be kind of brittle. It can break pretty easily, but man, they came in perfect condition. And this has been growing for about a week and it's going into full bloom. I'm really excited about this. This is going to be obviously my thriller, and this is going to get between 18 to 24 inches tall. It's not a huge salvia by any means, but it will fill in and it will kind of create a really nice effect that will give it some height there in those urns. I can't wait to see how that's going to look, but it's already beautiful, incredibly green and just absolutely prolific with blooms already in its small little can right here. So that's the unplugged white. And then in front of that, I'm going to plant this dahlia from Proven Winners, the Virtuoso Classy Carmine. This is going to be really nice. And I think for the foliage in and of itself, the blooms, of course, are going to be that gorgeous burgundy red or really rich red. And I think in contrast with the white from the salvia, it's going to be really, really nice. So I'm going to plant 2 of these along with 1 of the salvias. So these 2 varieties are going to really play well together, but then I need something to spill down in front of those urns to create that dramatic effect. And I found these actually at my local Lowe's. This time of year, they tend to get a little bit more variety in their Proven Winners, and I was excited to find this pomegranate punch, and I think it's going to be perfect to fit just right there in front. It'll mound just a little bit, but then it'll trail over the side and give you a really nice tiered effect with that beautiful white and that really nice burgundy red there, and then the red with the yellow throat with the deep color of that bloom. I think it's going to be absolutely perfect. So that will go in my urns, and I'll give you an update when we do that for sure. Okay, so the next varieties aren't necessarily going to go together, but I did want to share with you because they are new to me and I'm really excited to get them in the garden. Of course, their placement is yet to be determined, but I'm really excited because they are absolutely beautiful, starting with this beautiful Selena Scarlet. It is a gorgeous begonia, that really, really dark foliage, almost like a burgundy in itself with that rich, deep green color. And then of course, those vibrant red, true red double blooms. Absolutely pretty. This is going to be relatively short, and of course it's going to mound a little bit, anywhere between 8 to 12 inches tall and wide, but really guys, so pretty. So I think I'm going to place this maybe on my front porch because these do well in sun or shade, and that is a very unique part of our garden in that it doesn't receive very much sun except for a very little bit in the late afternoon. And from what I'm understanding, even though it says that these do well in sun or shade, they do benefit from a little bit more protection from that hot afternoon sun. And since the sun that they will get is so late in the afternoon, it'll be only just for a moment, and I think it'll be just fine. So the Selena Scarlet Begonia, so pretty. Okay, so the next really pretty annual that we received from Creekside Nursery is this new to the Proven Winners line, Heliotrope, the Aromagica Purple. And guys, as I'm holding it here right in front of my face, even though these blooms haven't fully opened, you can smell that sweet aroma. It's going to be really, really nice having something with a scent in our garden, because man, I wish you could smell it. It smells so pretty. Super green, came pretty much about this size. The only thing that's changed over the about 2 weeks that I've had this is the bloom size is getting larger and larger, and it's starting to open. It's got many tiny blooms there that are so dark purple that will eventually open to a more of a pastel color as it shows in the tag. This will take on a mounded form and grow anywhere between 18 to 30 inches tall and wide, and I have the perfect spot for this in between my raised beds right here in the full sun, since it is a full sun annual. So the next annual that I'd like to share with you is this beautiful stratosphere white Gara. I'm going to probably put this as a centerpiece in some of my combinations in containers, but really, really nice, extremely healthy, and you have that beautiful delicate white bloom there. And the one thing that I really like about Gara, because a lot of people may or may not like Gara, but for me I really do like it because it gives you a little bit of movement in your yard, especially when the wind blows a little bit. You get that really nice wispy texture in your garden in comparison to if you have this underplanted with some petunias that really don't give you any kind of movement in the wind. It's really, really nice, and I've yet to decide where I'm going to put this, but I'm probably for sure going to put this in some of my containers as a thriller. Really pretty. That would look beautiful with pretty much anything that I plant it with. Excited about that. All right, so the last thing that I want to talk about is this really pretty coleus that was new this last year. A lot of people are saying this thing is wonderful, this Color Blaze Mini-Me Chartreuse Coleus. It's very interesting. The leaf structure is very kind of serrated. In fact, it gets between, I think it said 12 to 20 inches tall and wide, which is perfect for a smaller size container, or maybe if you have a small space in your landscape, it could look like a very small, tight and compact shrub for you. Definitely that green color is a really nice contrast compared to the dark green of some of the other annuals and perennials that we have in our yard. So that's a real quick glimpse at some of these beautiful varieties. I covered most of them. There are a few down here that I didn't talk about today, but I'll make sure to give you an update on all of those when I get them into their containers or obviously into the landscape. Some of them are slated for my mom's yard, so that'll be fun to give you an update there as well. It's really worth mentioning that if you can find some of these really beautiful plants or other plants other than these at your local nurseries, it's always great to help support local business, of course, but it's also great to mention that if you can't find some of these varieties, you can absolutely order them online through provenwinners.com, provenwinnersdirect.com, or gardeningwithcreekside.com and other places. so that you have more options when it comes to things that you can plant in your yard. And for the most part, they come just like this, just as beautiful as you see them here. Now, if something happens, I can honestly say that if something breaks off, most of the time they will rebound, because that's just the nature of these Proven Winners annuals. But if they are completely destroyed, or something has happened where there's no coming back from the damage that they receive when they're in transit, then all of those places have great customer service that can help support you with that. But I haven't really had any issues that I've been ordering now. This is my 5th season, and I'm extremely satisfied with how they come every year. Anyways, we're really excited to get these into the garden. So many different things happening this time of year, and I know for a lot of you, you're really excited too. So we hope to see you in the near future when all of these things go into our yard. Until next time, everybody, thanks for being here today, and we'll see you again very soon. Bye-bye now.